Let's face it, business technology is frustrating and complex. So how do you make sure it works for your team? To make IT right, start the discussion at go-domain.com. You're listening to Discussions by Domain, a podcast for business leaders. Our discussions may be with people you've probably heard of before, but the majority of our guests are in the trenches, professionals like you and I, with the same challenges and struggles of keeping up in the Northeast. They're implementing strategies, overcoming hurdles. They're leading the fastest growing businesses in our region. My name is Anthony DeGraw, Director of Partnerships at Domain Computer Services, and the host of this show. When I'm not talking with business leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of Domain and the ups and downs of our own growth journey, as we intend to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show. Welcome to another episode of Discussions by Domain. Today, we are going to go behind the scenes a little bit, and we are going to talk to Brianna, who is a digital marketing specialist here at Domain Computer Services. And we're going to understand how she got into the field, what is she currently working on for Domain, and what of her past experiences, most recently out of school and some internships. What does that look like for Domain and other businesses, and what they should look for in their marketing? So Brianna, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Why don't we get started with who you are and what are you doing currently at Domain?
All right, so as Anthony said, I'm a digital marketing specialist for Domain Computer Services. I was just hired full-time after I graduated from Rutgers in May, so that was really exciting to have a job lined up right out of school. But even though I graduated from Rutgers, I actually started my college career at Montclair State University right out of high school 2014. I wanted to be a graphic design major. I did that for about 2 years, and even though I always had a passion for design and always will, I kind of realized that I was more interested in the evolving world of technology. And also Montclair wasn't that fun of a school for me personally. And Rutgers was really close to home, and it's just a really great school. So I chose to take a leap. I transferred to Rutgers, and I went to Rutgers as an IT major, computer science minor. Now it's funny because I was an IT major with all this computer experience, but now I'm doing creative work at Domain.
Yeah, so why don't we jump into that a little bit? So I know one of the things that really, obviously Domain's an IT company, so one of the things that really attracted us to Brianna was that she had this marketing experience and knowledge, but she also could combine it with this computer science as well as IT degree that you were going through at Rutgers. And we kind of talk about this internally, but marketing, digital marketing specifically, even web development and whatnot, is becoming more and more tech heavy. Yeah. The design and whatnot is a part of it, but also the tech heaviness of that. So why don't you walk through kind of how the combination of those degrees to what you're doing, how they relate, maybe how it makes it a little bit easier, the complexities of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
So a big thing that I'm interested in and what I do for Domain is a lot of website development. Yeah. So that kind of bridges the gap between design and then my computer technology experience, because you got to know coding to kind of make a website work. Yeah. Whether it be just like the pretty parts of the website like HTML or CSS, or the back end, PHP, all the functions, JavaScript, what's making your computer actually work when you click the buttons. Yeah, it's also good that I know IT like terminology, because for when it comes to marketing Domain, sometimes we have to write articles about what's going on in like the technological world, or just like define terms on our website that maybe our users don't really know, but they should use for their business. Yeah. So instead of having to do a lot of time and research, I know like I'll raise my hand and I'll say I can write this for you guys, because a lot of my coursework was based on like learning all this terminology, how it's beneficial to everybody or just even your business. Yeah. So it's kind of that knowing how to use technology and then knowing the I guess, technology terminology.
Yeah, one thing I would say is you do a great job of communicating internal tech speak to the outside world, which can be very complicated and hard to do. And a lot of times you can struggle with that, even myself, where it's like, I know what we're trying to get across, but I don't know how to say it in another person's perspective that doesn't have the knowledge that I have. So with that, let's jump into building trust through marketing. That's kind of one of the marketing department's mantras here. Why don't you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think in any case, we always touch on building trust through marketing, whether it's at a meeting for the company or we're starting a new project. It's like, how can we get people, whether it's a client, a future customer, people inside your company, how can you gain their trust? What makes people trust you? And that's a big part of our job. At Domain, we want to cultivate Domain's online reputation through marketing, through digital marketing. So people can see us and they can see why we're different from the competition, why they should trust us, and how we can make them trust us.
So how do you do that? Like we talk a lot about this, and obviously we can get as many online reviews and all this stuff that people think are valuable. We all, whether we're purchasing, I always say like a $20 mouse pad. We're looking at Amazon reviews to see how many it has. But with that comes that we start to almost undervalue those now, or think we know or have heard stories that sometimes those become fake over time, or people pay for things, so you start to not trust even those things. We were talking before we started recording, what are some of the items that you look for in a brand, even whether it be your personal life or through business channels, that build trust with you or that you like to see?
So first off, this is going to probably sound bad, but I'm a website snob. So as soon as I look up a brand, I judge them first based off their website, like judging a book by its cover. But, we're in the age where, you can just build your own website just through WordPress, Squarespace. There's templates that exist. Like, you don't even have to code stuff. So if you have a website that looks like it's from like the early 2000s, like it shows to me, I don't know if this is really true, but I personally believe that you don't really care about how you look to the online world, because you're not trying to get involved in digital marketing, which is rapidly growing. So besides the website, I also just look for the face of the company kind of. So the people who work there, what are their values? Even if it's just something stupid oh, I want to buy food online. If I've never purchased say almond butter or something random. If I never purchase almond butter, maybe I'm gonna go purchase from someone that use eco-friendly materials, and their company value is saving the environment. So it's just little things that give a brand more value and an authentic, I want to say, more authentic brand.
Yeah, feel. That's another thing too. So I guess to communicate out to businesses all across the Northeast, right, is you got to be authentic. You probably got to tell a little bit about your story, kind of like the almond butter example, right? If I go to an almond butter, two different websites, the one with the better story and brand image is probably the one I'm going to pick, because let's be honest, they're going to be relatively in the same price range. Usually for almond butter, it's a $350 or to $375. So which one am I going to move forward with? So I think being authentic, communicating your story, that helps you decide on what brands you're going to do business with.
Yeah, and I think also in today's day and age, there's a lot of websites that just do drop shipping. From another country, and you don't really know where that's coming from. So I think when you really see the face and the story behind a company, you're more inclined to buy from them, because you know that there's a lot of just clones of the same thing floating around the internet. Big thing for Domain, we're a local New Jersey business, and that really drives people home that want to work with us, because they know our team becomes a part of their team, because we have a great office culture. We're always here. We have remote workers, but they're still involved in the company heavily. It's just a really great environment, and just marketing that to the world through our website, through social media, just using that to build our authentic brand, basically.
Yeah. And I think I've come back sometimes and said that the number one question we always get asked when we're out in the world is, where are your people located? And the answer is always, we're here in Cranberry. And I think it's because a lot of companies have been burned by this. It's a cheaper rate, but they don't know where the service is actually coming from. And that's a frustration for many, many people. So you mentioned the people, even potentially the founders, having some sort of story or authenticity to them, which leads us to something that you wanted to talk about, which you do a really good job on, which is personal branding. Mm-hmm. So why don't you touch on what that means to you specifically, and then how can somebody, an owner, a founder, or even somebody like you and I who are working our way up, develop this personal brand?
So for personal branding, it's interesting because, I'm marketing for Domain and building up their online reputation, but every employee at Domain, pretty much every person in the world, they have their personal brand. Like, you're constantly marketing yourself. Like, an example of this would just be when you apply for a job. The first thing that people are probably going to do after looking at your resume is Google you. So what comes up? And it's interesting because some people, they really aren't concerned about their online presence. Like, they kind of want to be like a ghost because, the government has my data, or I just don't feel comfortable having like information about me available to anybody. But in a way, in our day and age, that kind of hurts you, because if you have like a LinkedIn profile with 5 followers, no picture, like, that doesn't really like look good for you. But at the end of the day, like, it's your privacy that, it's your choice. So it's tough because I feel like it's all or nothing. Like, if you want to market yourself online, you have to go all in. And if you don't want it, just probably don't have anything, because it could hurt you in the end. For example, like, say your resume is really great and you have a LinkedIn profile, but you haven't updated it in a while. Some employers might say, why is there this inconsistency? Like, can we trust them? Like, why didn't they update their LinkedIn with this great resume? But some people just, like I said, they don't really care about it.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that personal branding is like a big part of like my like everyday life, because before Domain, I really never had like a true internship, and Domain kind of took a chance on me. So like, once I got the opportunity, I've started learning so much here. So I just kept taking every opportunity that I got from Domain to build myself into a better person, build myself into a better worker. And I like love working here. So I love showing what our company is doing, taking pictures at events. Me and my coworker in the marketing department, Tyler, we actually got to go to a digital marketing conference. So not everyone in our company got to go, but we got to go. So that was like an exciting thing for me to share. And building your own personal brand helps you showcase why you're different. Because, like I said, authenticity. Why are you appealing to an employer? Like, what's your value? What can you offer them? Because at the end of the day, everybody is skilled in Microsoft Word. A lot of people know how to use Adobe. People have website experience. But like, why you? Like, what's your special talent? Yeah. And just telling your story through social media can be really beneficial if you're doing it the right way and for your own reasons.
One thing that I like a lot about it too, and I apply it a little bit in a different way, but what I like, especially from the world that you guys live in, is that you can take your personal profiles and experiment with certain things or ideas that you have or you heard or you read about or learned. You can apply it there first on a smaller scale. And then if it works or you see something positive there, you can come back to the business and say, hey, I tried this out. Here were the results of it. Here's the take I think we could do on the business side of it, and let's try it. And I think that just adds so much value to a company that either has no idea what they're doing, or they do have a good idea and they want to consistently try new things. And bringing that experience of what you're doing personally to make yourself look good and learn and all of this stuff translates really well, I think, over to the business side as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people in my generation, they say, are obsessed with Instagram, but Instagram is like a great way to actually learn marketing skills on the side. And like you said, bring them to Domain and see how they worked for yourself, and then give it as advice for maybe future like business endeavors. So it's like really interesting how a platform that people kind of make fun of sometimes because they say we're just too wrapped up in it and care about our image too much, but it can actually be a valuable tool because they have the business side of it, where you can see the insights, how many engagements, you can actually run advertisements on it, which may not be the best choice for every business. Like Domain doesn't have an Instagram.
Yeah.
But just learning how to use a tool like that and apply it to maybe just Facebook advertising or Google ads. So it's really beneficial.
No, I think that's good. And I would tell anybody, the one way I've learned the best is I go out on my own and I learn, I read, I take courses that I pay for and whatnot, and then I take all that knowledge and then I see how I can implement it back. And I think you're doing a phenomenal job of that, and you just keep doing that. So let's change gears a little bit and go to my typical questions that I ask.
Of course, I was waiting for these.
But also some of these answers have to do with exactly what you were just talking about. So let's start with the thought leader here in the Northeast that you'd like to give some credit to, and tell us a little bit about them.
So my thought leader is definitely going to be a girl boss because, I'm
Awesome.
a girl. But so it's Abby Taylor, the co-founder of Playables.
Okay.
And I know some people watching this might not know what Playables is, but you probably might have heard the name floating around because they've done an awesome job marketing. But I'll just give a quick backstory. And also, I actually used to work there in college, so I got to kind of get behind the scenes of the whole company culture and the whole marketing that went into it. So basically, Playables is a New Jersey-based acai shop. Acai is a super fruit, but they serve it in like a bowl, like a smoothie in a bowl with granola on top. But they got this idea from traveling around and surfing. So they thought it was such a great, like, healthy, like, alternative to, like, ice cream. And they're like, you know what, like, we want to bring this to the Jersey Shore and we want to, like, make this our business. So the thing was, they were founded in 2014. Most people had no idea what acai was.
Correct.
So it's starting a business, building a brand, educating people on what the brand is, and just basically starting from scratch, which I think is, like, the greatest hustle ever, A lot of people, they get lucky and, maybe they got like an angel investor or something and they could just start their dream company like right out of college, but they worked their way up from the bottom. They started as a little stand in Belmar and they would just hand out flyers that Abby made because she went to school for graphic design. So she took her design passion, like I guess I have my design passion, and built the brand based on that.
And it's a phenomenal brand, obviously, here in New Jersey. And I already know they're doing real big things. And like you said, 2014, it's 2019, it's 5 years. And I know I believe they're franchising.
They've grown so much.
They've grown so much. And it's funny, you mentioned the ice cream thing. So I used to live in Wall Township, New Jersey, which is part of Belmar, right? Same zip code. And my wife would work on Saturdays. So I would have my son by myself on Saturdays. And we would always go up to the beach or walk the boardwalk or go to Manasquan and whatnot. And I always used to say to him, do you want to go get ice cream? And what it really was Playables, but it was like
you were tricking him?
the healthiest form of ice cream ever. And he loved it, absolutely loved it. And it was super healthy for him. So that's good stuff. We'll definitely link to Abby. I know she has a pretty solid LinkedIn presence as well, talking about personal branding.
Oh yeah, she's always doing talks.
She's doing great stuff.
On other people's podcasts. So.
Yeah, maybe we could get her on here. That'd be legit. So yeah, we'll link to them and Playables if you want to go check out a location nearest to you. Let's go to a book. What is a book that has changed your thought process or made you rethink things that you really enjoyed?
So I think it's funny you said a lot of my answers are kind of based on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like I just am like a very creative person. My thoughts are like in a million places all day. Like I'm always like thinking of new ideas. I'm like, oh, this would be a fun business, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But a really great book that I've read is called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. And it basically talks about how you can live a creative life. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize that living a creative life doesn't mean that you have to paint or draw. Like a lot of people aren't even good at that, or they don't even like it. It's about doing things that you enjoy, back to the phrase authentically.
Yeah.
And you like doing them without caring what anybody else thinks. Like, like even just going running before work, that's helping you like release your creativity because it's getting your mind flowing, your body flowing. Just anything that you enjoy to do authentically that encourages you to be a better person, basically, is what the whole book is about.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we'll definitely link to that one as well. Probably right, Ty, we'll get that to Amazon maybe. So that'll be really cool. And then the final one is talk to us about a charity or a nonprofit that you've been associated with or support that you'd also like to communicate to the audience.
So I actually used to be involved with Clean Ocean Action.
Okay.
They do beach cleanups throughout the state of New Jersey. I was involved a lot with them in high school, a little bit in college, and I'm hoping to finally do it again now that I'm back on my feet. You're kind of in that weird transition period between like college and full time.
Definitely.
Like I have a job, but I'm living back home with my parents, and like I'm not surrounded by my peers anymore. So it's like, exactly. How can I build my personal brand? Like, what am I interested in? What am I interested in that can help me be a better person that I also enjoy?
Correct.
Like charity work should be something that you already have a passion for, and I'm a big beach goer. I don't live at the beach. I'm from Freehold. And whenever I say I live at the shore, my boyfriend makes fun of me. But you can always find me at the beach pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
And I just think that, especially since the summer was just over, we got a lot of tourists just throwing garbage all around. There's a guy driving in front of me in Ocean Grove. He just threw a beer can out the window. First of all, why you have that in your car? But just, the shore needs some love after the summer, and, everything with global warming. We can just do our part by cleaning up the beaches. There's a big beach week coming up in October, so I'm going to be a part of that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and I like that we're going to get a different perspective than the standard business leaders on the podcast. We get to go behind the scenes and see the everyday practitioners that are actually getting the work done. We've had a lot of people come to us specifically at the executive level and say to us, what are you guys doing in terms of social? What are you doing in terms of marketing? Because I see everything that's going on. You seem to be everywhere. And it's a big shout out to you guys and the entire team that's behind us.
We must be doing something right.
Getting all of this stuff done. So good stuff. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks again.
To ensure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device. To help us get the word out, share with a friend, leave a review, and check out our discussions on the web at go-domain.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.